similar thing happened. I've never heard anyone respond so oddly. It was like, what? I had this one situation. I've always had these situations where people, uh, when I wear my photos and they look like they are um, better, but they're the same complexion. Sometimes people think it's lighter. But I make my photos darker, and this lady, she was freaking the hell out. And I was like, lady, I'm just darkening my photos. Like, what is it your concern if I'm darker or lighter? Like, we all black at the end of the day. And if I think that someone like is better looking, darker skin, I never understand like why is that wrong to make my skin darker if that's what I want it to be. You know? I don't know. It was just kind of weird that whole experience. And I kind of think that it's a little sad and scary because the person was freaking out about it and it's like you do understand your children are dark skinned. So you acting like dark skin is a bad thing or bad that I make my skin darker? It's just odd to me. Like, it's not healthy as a parent to have this kind of view. And the thing is, it's like, how can you really say people who have children with people who are darker skinned are, you know, going to create a good environment for their children? Because, I mean, when you think that lighter skin is better, yet your children turn out dark, you know, you're obviously not instilling that they are the most beautiful as they are. And to me, that was just odd. Like, I know I make my photos darker. And like I said, I had this one individual, I added them like 10 days ago. Were completely obsessed with me in a weird, crazy way, too, honestly. Like, commenting on my posts, on my photos, and everything. And it was weird because it was like, I just commented on a few videos and I was like, that was it. But I think she thought I was more into her content because I had a lot to say. And then I kind of like, I guess, ghosted her for a little while. I didn't watch her content or anything because it just wasn't pertaining to me. And, when I watch my content that I'm interested in, it's usually having to do with like divestment, swirling. It's not really focused on black men. And it's not really focused on other things that have to do with, the black side of YouTube with the men. I get bored easily when I start watching stuff that involves black men. And that's mostly because, I didn't grow up with black men. I didn't grow up being told that this was my other half or anything of that nature. So, I don't know, I stopped watching basically. And it was like she apparently sent me a message asking me why I was darker in some of my photos, as you can see here. And I didn't answer because I'm not on my Instagram often. So I don't really post on Instagram or focus on Instagram. I know I should. And there's some things in tutorials that I've seen that people do in Instagram that is interesting that I'm like, I would like to do that myself. Promoting different things, promoting like your platform, promoting whatever, So, to me, I mean, like, I wasn't even on Instagram or anything of that nature. And then I finally find this comment when she's just like lashing out, freaking out because she said my photos looked different in different photos, my skin tone looked different, and that I must be demented or something, or crazy or something, because I changed my complexion on my photos. I've said so many times, and I mean, like, if you watch my content, you'd already know this, that I don't like being lighter skinned. I just don't. It looks washed out. It looks ugly to me for a woman. And many of the time I see dark skinned black women, and they have like fuller features, they have perfections that I can't really accomplish on my own. And I have even more Photoshop than this, honestly. I have other stuff I do with my facial features sometimes. Anyway, but I would never put that on my Instagram because it wouldn't look like me at all. But the point is, you know, I have made myself darker, but I don't understand why is that a big deal? Why would that be upsetting to someone? Unless you don't like dark skin. If you don't like dark skin, that's not really good because you birthed dark-skinned children. You can't have a mentality where you don't like dark skin in any capacity and try to birth dark-skinned children. This is a major thing for me personally. You know how I think of dark-skinned men, and now I don't think they're very attractive. It probably would not be healthy for me to have children that are dark-skinned boys. So therefore, I would be smart enough not to have children that are dark-skinned or have the propensity to be dark-skinned. So, I mean, like, I don't understand why someone would run the chance of having dark-skinned children, then have dark-skinned children, then have a negative view on dark skin. Like, things aren't adding up here. And I've said that plenty of times before, but it just was odd to me. It's like, you really are disturbed by the fact that somebody who's lighter has made their skin darker? Like, you're not even dark-skinned. Well, what is your problem in this? And then, like, on top of it, they were trying to act like, lighter skin was better and trying to act like, brown skin was bad thing. And I was like, if somebody is darkening their skin tone, they clearly don't want to be light-skinned. I'm just saying, like, can you just understand where I'm coming from? I understand where you're coming from. You have a whiter passing mother. That's what you think is good enough. And the sad thing is, you're still not at that level. You're still not good enough for that. You yourself are caramel. Honestly, in my opinion, I don't even think you're light-skinned. I don't think I'm light-skinned either. I don't consider myself yellow. I consider myself light brown. And I've said this plenty of times. Red, light brown, caramel, all those terms, A caramel is never going to be a yellow. And no matter how many times you put on blonde wigs and blue eye contacts and, try to pass for something else, it's all going to look basically like you're trying to image something that you're not. Personally, I guess you could say I'm the same way because I try to go the other way. But the thing is with that is with darker skinned women, technically, I can look like them. Technically, if I tan enough, I will be close enough. So at least there's a part of me that is similar to dark skinned black women, and I do appreciate that. On my Instagram, I used to actually have all my photos dark skin, and then I stopped because I would talk to people that I was basically interested in, and sometimes they would get my Instagram, and they would be confused looking at my darker skin photos, as you see, and they would be confused by my regular photos, and they'd be confused by, like, why there's a difference. So that's why I stopped doing that, and I kind of only put a few photos of the dark skin, and the other photos were lighter skinned. I honestly, sometimes I have other profiles where all my photos are dark skinned. I have some photos that are dark skinned with my natural hair. I love those. I love those because I feel like it's more acceptable, and it's more like people are willing to accept me for me. Other than like when I am like, for example, lighter skinned with my hair texture, my hair length, it's kind of just like I feel like something's missing, or people sometimes say that I'm supposed to have like long 3C hair or something, and so that's why for me, I like having, my whole profile having that phenotype basically. But um yeah, I just found it kind of odd. I really did. I found it really odd that like someone would be upset at me for having a different skin tone than what I naturally do on Instagram. Like, okay, sure, on Instagram, I have photos that make me dark skinned. But dark skinned, brown skinned, and honestly, I mean, like, my skin tone isn't yellow. So, I mean, like, being light brown and making my skin dark skin, what is the difference? Is there a big difference between these photos that I have on the screen? It really isn't, is it? I mean, I have one photo up here, the one without the makeup, and then you see the one at the bottom, and then you see the other one at the bottom, and you see the other one on the top. The ones on the top are me natural. Well, my skin tone natural. The one on the right side is not. That one's with makeup. But the other one is my natural complexion on the other side with the brown hair, brown curly hair. And I just don't understand that. To me, I'm like, some people, like their skin tone darker. I've never heard anyone really hate someone just because they make their skin tone darker. And I mean, I don't think it's just that. It's more than that, obviously. But I just think pointing out that my skin tone is darker sometimes, or that I darken my photos, is like weird to me. Like, to be upset at that, especially if in your look and the thing that you push is looking lighter. If you like lighter to attract the black man, or whatever you're trying to attract, I don't really know what you're trying to attract, and it's none of my concern, then, why do you care if someone is darkening their skin tone? Like, it has nothing to do with you. I feel like, honestly, the darker photos look prettier. Oh, I do? Do I look, the one and only Ariana, do I look lighter? Like, do I look extremely lighter in this photo here, the natural one? I don't, do I? I don't think I do. That's what I'm saying. I'm not changing my skin tone. This is how I have some of my photos. Yeah. I'm thinking back, maybe the photos that I posted on these videos are different. I do different things. Like sometimes I put apps in for what's it called, gradient, and you turn yourself into a black woman, and then your features are more African, like Afrocentric. See, that's what I mean. It's not that light. See, and it's not that different from the bottom photos, right? So that's what I'm saying. To me, it's like, I think my top photos. Okay, you're saying nope and yes. I'm confused now. But what I'm trying to say is that there's not much of a difference here. On my videos, I guess you're saying that some of the lighting is different. I take some photos I take from different things. Like I never make the photos lighter. That's the thing. So you're agreeing with me, basically. The one and only Ariana, to what you were saying. I think you're agreeing with me. Well, the point is, what I was just saying was just that I don't understand like why it would be such a big deal that I made like a difference here. I do like edit. Okay, right. So that's what I'm saying. I do edit my photos in the sense sometimes of like for like make the brows better, make the lashes better, things like that. But I don't really like what I do is I just take the photo, whatever the photo was, and then I just start putting makeup on it. Like this one right here, I just put makeup on it from this one. Now this one at the bottom, obviously I used makeup that was darker, you know, but and every time I've used this top photo here, I've used this top photo on this channel several times. And every time I use it, I actually use a darker foundation for it. So, I mean, I do not change anything when it comes to skin tone. But the thing is, like, to look lighter, I'm saying. So that's why I just didn't understand, like, why someone would be cranky about the whole situation. Because it was like, to me, from how I do things, I don't try to look more of another race. I think sometimes what people get confused by is the fact that I change my hair color over and over and over again. Don't you see? I'm changing my hair color in these photos right here. These are the same two photos on the right side. The blonde and the red hair are different hair colors. I change that myself. I change it to blonde, I change it to red, I change it to black. As you can see on the bottom photo, I change it to black sometimes. I change it to different colors. I wear eye contacts sometimes of different colors. I've been considering wearing contacts that were red just for the fun of it. It's just like, different things. I find it cool because, like, in regular life, I can't do that. I can't just buy eye contacts of this color or that color. I can't buy wigs of this color or that color or that color and so forth. You know what I mean? You can't just switch up like that, especially when you want to buy other things, and you want to buy, I like to buy, when I wear extensions, it's cheaper, but when I wear like wigs or units or whatever we're calling those things, I buy more expensive on the higher end. So for me, I don't want to buy multiple wigs like that. I've seen some people use dye, and I've used dye on wigs before. I don't hear what you're saying. Oh, there you are. Okay, yeah, there it is. The one and only Ariana. You look really pretty as a black woman, not saying you aren't pretty light skinned. You are pretty both ways. Thank you, the one and only. You're very pretty yourself. But yeah, that's why I prefer to make my photos darker skin. Honestly, my photos darker skin look closer to how my mom looks. And you know how many times I've said my mother was more my ideal. When I change my photos a bit more to even make the features look even better like hers, I generally, I it looks even better basically. So yeah, that's basically it. It's just I just found that whole experience really odd to me because it was just like, it's none of your business what I do with my photos and stuff, but like I don't understand why it would offend someone that I made my skin tone a different color. I mean, like, it's not like I'm crossing races here. I mean, I'm obviously black both ways, and I'm not even that different in color. Like, I'm not like extremely light skinned. I'm, in my opinion, I would say I'm brown skinned. So, I mean, I'm brown skinned in this photo, and I'm dark skinned in that photo. So, I don't see where the problem was, but yeah, I just thought it was kind of weird. And also, one last thing, like, condemning someone or trying to think poorly of someone because they are brown skinned or dark-skinned just seems colorist to me. And I don't understand why colorist people try to have children with dark-skinned people and have dark-skinned kids and then cause basically trouble for those kids. Because that's the whole problem with colorism. This is how we have dark-skinned people with issues on colorism and feeling bad about their skin tone because they get raised by people who hate themselves. And when that happens, then they come out to the world complaining about their skin tone and thinking negatively. And it's like, you really didn't have to make it that way if you only found a way to love yourself and therefore love the people in your life that are dark-skinned. Especially the children you brought into this world. You had the choice to either not have dark-skinned children or to have dark-skinned children. Most people have that choice, honestly. I mean, even dark-skinned people have that choice. I mean, they can have kids with someone who's white or something like that, So, I mean, if you're not in the mindset to embrace dark skin, don't go about trying to create dark-skinned people who are going to hate themselves. So that's basically, I think, all I have to say on this. I just think it's annoying for me with people when they act like light skin is what everyone wants and what everyone is striving to be, when it's like it's only something you are striving to be. And I mean, that's not a good position to be in unless you're white. White people, when they think that, light skin is right and stuff, it works out for them. Because if you are, a white person, you're the whitest. Everybody else is darker than white. So they never cut the mode for it. They never make it. They never quite are accepted as the best thing ever. Because they're white people. They're white people in this country. They're white people in this world. And therefore, it's just silly to fight and, try to accomplish something that is unaccomplishable. Unaccomplishable or whatever. I made up the word, but you get what I'm saying. It's unattainable. That's a better word for it. Unattainable. So, yeah, that's basically all I have to say on that. I want to make another video, and then I'm going to make the other video that I was meaning to make. So, thanks for watching, and hi, Rex Rogers. But, yeah, I'm going to go now. Thanks for listening. Bye.